Hi friends, it is so lovely to see you this morning. Raise your hand if you're a woman who believed that the only thing you can do in life is get married, have kids, and that's it. Well, in today's case, Judge Penny gives some very valuable advice to young women in this courtroom whose parents are more concerned with them getting married than going to school. What started as a little sister's desperate plea to have her bedroom back to herself led to a very heartfelt conversation about women pursuing their dreams and realizing that you can do it all. So friends, grab your coffee and a notepad because you're going to want to write some of this down.
Aviva,
Hi.
how you doing?
Good. I'm here today because I want half of my room back. Even though she's 24 years old, I'm 17, I need half of the room. I know her stuff is messy, it's all over, and I just don't want that. It's just disgusting. I want half my room back.
Oh, wow. And you did all of that without taking a breath. You're 17.
Yes.
Cute as a button.
Thanks.
Apparently you and your sister, Sharona, right?
Yeah.
Share a room together. And she's invading your privacy.
Absolutely.
What's happening?
Basically, my whole life, I was sharing a room with my sister, and when I was getting older, it was getting harder and harder. And I was just like, okay, I can't take it. Okay, she'll move out eventually one day. But I don't know, it didn't come yet. So I have to just live with it right now. And it's just embarrassing because all her stuff is all over the room. I keep tripping. Whenever I want to go to the window and open the window, I'm falling, and I just don't want to do that anymore. All her stuff is all over, and some of the stuff she has on the floor is just junk, just give it a donation or something, And I just don't like it, and it's absolutely wrong. And I actually don't invite any of my friends because she has all her stuff over, all over the floor. And why would a teenager want a friend to come over with all the stuff on the floor? I get so embarrassed, so I want her to give me my half of the room back.
Well, you've made out your case. Do you want to be a lawyer when you grow up?
Actually, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
I kind of figured that.
Yeah.
Did you bring some evidence for the court to see?
I actually brought all her shoes, and that she's actually...
Pictures of her shoes?
Pictures of her shoes, yeah. And that she's actually taking more of the room. And I have literally a corner, and she has a big building, and I really don't... Yeah.
All right, well, let me see that. And you're 17?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And you want to grow up to be a lawyer?
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Well, you have to say that it will be so.
It will be so.
That's it. All right, this is her side of the room?
Yes.
With the fan?
No, the white part is my room, and the wood part is hers.
Oh, okay.
As you could see, she has more.
And I see the shoe closet. A
Yeah.
lot of shoes. Cute shoes.
Thank you.
All right.
But too many.
Too many?
Yeah.
Oh, they're hanging everywhere. Okay, I see. Well, Sharona, your sister has come into court at 17 years old, and she's saying that you're invading part of her room. What's happening with you, sweetheart?
Well, I want to start off by saying it's almost impossible for two young females to live in a room together, with all the stuff, clothes, shoes. So I was sharing a room with my brother when she was born. And as my brother got older and she got older, my brother moved into the guest room and she came and lived in my room. So it was my room to begin with. And, I do respect her space. I have given her, maybe 40% of the room is hers and 60%
30%.
But, I'm older. I'm 24. I have more clothes. She
Now
goes...
you are living at home?
Yeah.
You're going to be leaving soon?
No. Why am I going to buy the cow if I'm getting the milk for free? So...
Say again?
Why am I going to buy a cow when I'm getting the milk for free? So...
Well, I haven't heard people say that about their parents.
Well, it's
Usually you say that to girls
I'm
who are
talking about
living
the
with
situation
men.
as a whole. So,
Okay.
But it's not that I don't want to move out. It's just there's a lot of other factors that don't allow me to move out.
That is quite an odd way to describe your parents. But hey, it makes sense. She's 24. I feel like a lot of people in their 20s don't move out of their parents' house for quite some time. Especially in California, it's not easy out here. I remember hearing what my friend who lives in Minnesota was paying for rent. She was paying $700, and I was like, girl, that is absolutely unheard of here. So hey, I get it. I understand not wanting to move out right away. I also understand the plight of the little sister because I myself am a little sister, and sharing a space with a sibling, not fun. Now, I've never had to share a bedroom with a sibling though. That sounds like an actual nightmare. I mean, the only time I've ever shared a room with somebody was when I was in college. I quite literally hated every minute of it. Dorm life is not for the faint of heart, let me tell ya.
We're Middle Eastern. It's not really accepted for us to move out until
really?
we're married. It's frowned upon, and the society would make a big deal out of it and start these rumors, and they would, hold the parents liable for their children's actions.
Interesting.
So
you have to stay home for how long? Until you get married?
Yeah, it could be 18 or 80. It doesn't matter.
Really? Are you ever allowed to just live a life as a single person?
You are, but it depends on what grounds. If it's a decent way of living, and if it, complies with society's, the Middle Eastern Jewish community, yeah, but not usually. It's difficult.
Really?
Yeah.
Because everybody is not supposed to be married. I know our society has brainwashed everyone into believing that, particularly women. As their biological clocks begin to tick, they start getting worried. But everyone was not made to be married. There are some people, they're made to be single. And that's how it is.
I have to agree with Judge Penny on this one. I feel like we've all been told that the thing that you do is you get married, you have a family, you live happily ever after, yet 50% of marriages end in divorce. There's probably a reason for that. And I do think it's interesting that in the Middle Eastern culture, it's pretty much frowned upon as a woman to move out of your parents' house until you're married. And that seems very taboo in America. I feel like people look down on people who still live with their parents. But that's just kind of the way their culture is. They're very family-centric and very much believe that you leave your parents and then you go to your husband, and that's just how you live life. And that's fine, but like I said, I don't think everybody is cut out for marriage. I really don't. I always think about the passage in the Bible that talks about how if you are able to be single, then that is the way to best dedicate your life to God. Because if you're married, your love is split between God and your spouse. But if you're not able to control your lustful desires, then you should be married. So I always found it interesting that the Bible says it's best for your faith and your walk with God and your righteousness to be single, but if you can't keep it in your pants, then get yourself a wife. Personally, I feel like I've always had this idea that, one day I'm gonna get married, one day I'm gonna have a family, and that's just how life works. Which is interesting because I come from a family of divorce. That's the number one thing in my mind that is the most terrifying prospect. And who knows, maybe that's why I'm still unmarried at the age of 30. And also, there's such a taboo around women being single, especially in their 30s and 40s, having no kids. It's frowned upon, when in reality, it's why does she need that? Why is it fine for a man to be single for the rest of his life, but the moment a woman doesn't fulfill her purpose as a wife or a mother, something has to be wrong with her, right?
What do you want to do, honey?
It's just a lot of things have been put in my head from not only at home, just in society, law school is such a commitment. If you do go to law school and become an attorney, it's going to become your life and your husband and your marriage, and it's going to be hard to have a successful marriage. And
Child,
I think families...
You need to talk to Judge Penny. I was a lawyer before I was a judge.
Yeah.
I have a wonderful husband. I have 2 children and a grandchild.
Yeah.
This is America. You can have it all.
I don't want to get married late. I don't want to get married at 30.
That's late?
Yeah, it is. Well, I want to have 5 children.
That's wonderful.
And I can't do that when I'm it's harder when you're older to have children. So
30 is older?
No, in the 40s I'm saying. I want to be married and have 5 kids before I'm 40.
Okay. Well, you're 24.
Yeah.
If your dream, and let me tell you about dreams, you got to go after them. Or later on in life, you don't get a chance. And you don't want to have a situation where you have regrets. What do I mean when I say you don't have a chance? That doesn't mean that by the time you're 45, you can't go to law school, because I went at an older age. But it's just so much easier why you don't have any burdens of a child, children, or a husband to go to school if you want to. Do you have a passion to be a lawyer?
I do.
Oh, sweetheart.
Well, my family says, you know, get the family and the kids out of the way and then go back to school.
You really think that's going to happen?
I mean, I've seen it happen, but it just depends on,
Okay, we talking, you and I.
yeah.
Okay? And your heart of hearts, there's little old you at 30 with 5 kids. You think you're going to be able to go to law school?
When they're older,
Yeah.
but
Then you'll be sending them to school. You know what I mean? Your
Yeah.
dreams are your dreams. And nothing should come before that. Your sister's going to school, or are you going to go to school afterwards? What's your situation?
No, I'm gonna go to school.
Oh, I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
has her mind made up. So how come it's good enough for your sister but not for you?
well, like you said, you know, she follows the rules. Like, you know,
You could also.
Well, help me with this. Seems like you're the one following the rules, not her.
no, because I should have been married by now. All my friends are married, have like 2 kids. In our society, everyone gets married, you know, between like 18 and 24. I mean, in my culture, if a woman isn't married by 30, they think there's something wrong with her. They're like, you know, there must be a reason why she's not married, you know, and it's unfortunate, but this is how the society and culture is, and it needs to be changed, but it's been like this, and you can't change how people think. And
You're 24. Law school is only 3 years.
yeah.
That gives you 27. You still got 3 years to get a husband and a few kids. What about that? Doesn't that sound like a plan?
Yeah, it's easier said than done.
Well, why, baby? I don't like you feeling like there's such hopelessness. Maybe that's why you're taking over your sister's room, because you're acting out, you think? Maybe?
Yeah.
You know, I have a fear that I'm never gonna get married. So I guess I'm more focused on that. Not that I'm like looking for a husband, but I don't want to be in law school and I meet somebody and then I have to drop out of law school to, you know.
Suppose you meet a young man with the same values that you have in law school. And then after law school, I've had so many friends of mine find love in law school, because it's like being in a war. Law school is tough. And so when you're up all night studying, it's sort of like going to a club. You don't know anything about this if you're living a kind of life that's more conservative. But there are those of people, like Dayton would go to a club, and at night the girl really looked good in the lights and stuff, but then when he woke up the next morning, you're saying, "Ooh, who is this?" Well, that's how law school is. When you go to law school, because it's very confining and very demanding, a lot of times you find someone. Sweetheart, I don't believe you're not going to find a man. That's the least of your worries.
Oh boy. Been there, done that. Trust me. As a 30-year-old woman, who is also unmarried, by the way, although jury's still out if there's something wrong with me. I'm sure my boyfriend would definitely agree that I'm not normal. But I remember being in my 20s and just thinking, ugh, why is everybody getting married? Everyone's having kids, and somehow I'm here still trying to figure out my life. But the thing is, you're always gonna have something that somebody else wants, and you're always gonna look at somebody else's life and think, I want that. There's no such thing as a perfect life. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage, a perfect career, nothing. So if we're constantly looking outside of ourselves to think, why don't I have that yet? Instead of thinking, this is the life I do have. This is my timeline, not anybody else's. This is the way my life is supposed to go. And we stop trying to reach for things that aren't meant for us yet, or aren't meant for us at all. We're never going to be happy. We're never going to be satisfied. And listen, she's still young. She's 24. She still has plenty of time to realize that for herself. If this is something she wants to do, if law school is something that she wants to do for herself, girl, just do it. Don't let society or your parents tell you what you should or shouldn't do. Because the moment we start pursuing the life that we know deep down that we really, really want and that is meant for us, things just start to fall into place.
What I would hope that you can learn to do is find yourself in the midst of all of that and not be so concerned. I know it's a lot of pressure for a 24-year-old, particularly if you're telling me you should have been married with kids now, to still find yourself. Do you think that your parents would accept if you decided you wanted to go to law school, particularly with your sister wanting to be a lawyer too? You think that's too late for you?
No, it's not that they don't really support me in it. They just have a fear that I'm gonna not get married. That's their fear. Yeah.
Did you tell them you want to get married?
I did.
You want to get married?
I do.
You really do? You have your eyes on anybody, or you can't say that in your culture?
Can't say that in the culture.
You can't. He has to have his eyes on you?
Exactly.
Okay, I don't think they probably would have put me out a long time ago. I love rules because I'm a judge. But my goodness, so you can't say it. Okay.
Somebody's supposed to, it's like an arranged date.
Oh, an arrangement. I've
Yeah.
heard of those things.
Yeah.
Oh. And if it's arranged and you don't like him, you still got to get him?
No, you have, it's not as strict as it was before. You have choices to walk away, but they prefer you date someone who's introduced you through somebody else. Like not just some Joe Schmo off the street that you met, because they're saying that the culture says if you meet somebody through somebody else, the chances that your marriage will last will be greater than somebody you have no background of. Which I understand, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I could see. Sharona, what we gonna do with you, sweetheart? Normally, when I deal with my cases, I see people, thousands of people I've had come before me as a judge. And for some reason, you're touching my heart in a different way. Because I'm gonna wonder what really happens with you. Do you feel trapped?
No, I don't feel trapped.
What do you feel?
I feel like this is just a point in my life where I kind of have to suffer a little bit to kind of find my own way. The culture needs to be changed, and I don't know, I'm just waiting one day someone starts a revolution or something.
Maybe you are a little revolutionary girl. You think?
No, I don't think so.
Hey, be the change you want to see in the world, am I right? Definitely easier said than done, okay? I understand that at 24, the last thing you're thinking about is starting a revolution in your own culture. I mean, I'm trying to think back to when I was 24. I was still living at home, didn't have a full-time job. I think I turned 24 during quarantine, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, so nobody was working. And honestly, during that time, the way I spent my days was laying by the pool, drinking wine, and roller skating. That was like my top 3 activities that I did when I was 24 years old. So girl, listen, you got time to figure it out. You got time to find a husband, that's for sure. But also, finding a man is like maybe number 4 on the list of things that you should figure out about your life. I would say number 1 is being content with who you are as a person, pursuing things that make you feel most authentically you, spending time with friends, building those female friendships. That's that's like the meat of life, you know? Finding a partner is great and all. Having somebody to lean on, having someone to come home to, but it's not like the end all be all to make you happy in life, okay? And if that is what you think is gonna make you happy in life, let me tell you, girl, you're not gonna be happy. So get your law degree, go party in college, find who you are, because now's the time to do it.
Well, don't expect your sister to help you because she says she's following the rules. Well, you know, with time, changes come. And a lot of times you don't have to turn the world upside down to still get what you want. You need to try to be creative in your thinking. Your family and your culture means everything to you. And somehow I believe you're smart enough because we're women, and women can do it all. After all, we have the opportunity to be president or vice president of the United States of America. We can do anything we want to do. You just need to be creative. I believe in my heart of hearts, and if I didn't, I wouldn't say this, that there is a possibility for you to be a lawyer, have a husband, and a family. How do I know? Because I did. You're worrying about the wrong thing. You're gonna find a man. You're cute and pretty and smart. You'll find a man. And what you give out, you will attract. But I don't want you to give up on your dream. Because I really think if it's your life's passion to be a lawyer, you need to try to do that. Okay? Well, your sister brought you into court today because she says she wants me to compel you to give her back 50% of her room. And guess what? I think it's appropriate because maybe I put something on your heart and your spirit enough that you can be brave enough to not wait for change to come from someone else, but change can really come from you. Because if you wait on somebody else, it may never come. You can go and be a lawyer, sweetheart, and still have that husband and your 5 kids. But in the meantime, you got to move back over on your side of the room because she wants her room back.
Okay.
But I realize now that you didn't just come here for this because you really do love your sister. I can tell in many ways. You're an outstanding young lady yourself. I'm quite proud of you. And I know you're going to do it all as well. But maybe some of the words that I shared with her, she can hear because I wasn't asking her to be radical. Just try to work within your community and still be able to have what you want. I think you can do it. I really do. So your 17-year-old sister brought you in the court because she says she wants 50% of her room back. And so I'm going to order, although it was your room originally, that fair is fair. And until, because you might be there a while, otherwise you're going to law school. But in the meantime, we're going to split that room 50-50 down the middle. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, sweetheart. Case stands adjourned.
I think the judge did get to my sister, and I think she learned a lot.
There was a lot of topics that came to the surface that needed to be addressed. So I'm glad those were addressed. And yeah, I'm happy. I mean, I guess you have to compromise.
Well, I was definitely not expecting the case to go down the direction that it did, but I'm kind of glad that it did because I know I have at least a few young 20-something-year-old followers who probably would benefit from hearing what Judge Penny had to say. As women, we're told a lot of time what we're supposed to be doing with our lives, but I think it's important to understand that we're not a monolith. Like, we don't just have one course of life. And this also goes for like the ultra feminists who believe that being a wife and a mother is like being in prison. Like, I don't understand that line of thinking either. I think it's important that women understand whether you choose to follow your career or whether you choose to be a stay-at-home mom, or you can do both. Because, like Judge Penny said, she knows it can be done because she did it. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Judge Penny is a fantastic role model for women, and that's why I just can't stop watching her videos. She's just such an incredible woman, and I feel like I learn from her every single time I watch her videos, and I hope you did too. But I'm curious to know your thoughts on this case. What do you think about Middle Eastern culture, how women should be living with their parents until they get married, or the fact that marriage is held in a higher regard than something like going to law school? And for all of you older women out there who've done the family thing, done the career thing, if you could go back and tell your 20-something-year-old self a word of advice, what would it be? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Leave a like and a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.